Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Final Fantasy's Pixel Remastered. We did a lot last episode. Knocked out the Marsh Cave, we knocked out Astos, we did the big plot device shuffle, we opened a canal, and now we're in Melmond. With a lot of gold in our pocket, as it turns out, which is useful because Suck does have access to level 5 spells. Although, I don't know if he can actually use any of them right now. He has the spell slots, but let's see. Faraga he can use. Really wish he could use teleport. And he will at some point, but we're going to grab Faraga for him. That's our level 3 fire spell. Which for him, not going to be as powerful as via Black Mage, but that's fine. Can't get life. I think he can get access to life once he gets the class upgrade. I'm not positive. He's never going to get access to Diaga or Healer. The heal spells and the harm spells are just out of his wheelhouse. Okay, real quick. Yeah, I maxed out on potions. Good. Reason I ask is because there is not a item shop in this town. Nor is there a chapel to revive dead characters that got wiped out. But we do have a weapon shop, which might have something of value. Okay, let's see. The longsword is an upgrade for Suck. That's 20 and 10 versus 18 and 15. So 2 points higher attack, but 5 less accuracy. I think we're going to leave him with the Werebuster. And everything else is just... We tried the thing with the Crociar. It's not going to work. Speaking of which, we're actually going to sell some of this junk that we don't need no more. Since no one else can use it, might as well get rid of it. Yeah, Power Staff worth 6,172 gold. Why is it worth that much? I don't know. I don't know what purpose it's supposed to serve. I can assume that it's because this is a D&D based game, at least primarily, that it's supposed to be like a Staff of Power. I have absolutely no idea. So, didn't get anything, but we came out of there with more money than we started, so that's probably not terrible. Let's see here. Silver armlets. That would be good for Jet. Everything else we're good for. And we can't afford the Knight's armor. Which isn't terrible. So that's 34 and 33 weight. That's 24 and 23. So it's 10 more soak, or 10 more defense, which is really good. But we're not going to need it for very long. So we picked up a spell. Actually, did I pick up 2 or did I only pick up the 1? I picked up the 1. Okay, cool. Yeah, because we're not going to worry about Kiraga because, well, we have a lot of potions. Lesser Tigers. They hit fairly hard. Not against Arthur because he's got all that plate armor on, but still. Okay. So, I know that was a crit, but that does raise an interesting question. A sword that's effective against beasts. I wonder if they changed that. Alright, so... Because I'll tell you what type things are. Like a wolf is a beast. Crazy horse is a beast. No type on that. Werewolf is regenerative, beast, and magic, so the rune sword would work on that as well, which is interesting. Cobras are ranked as dragons. I never knew that. Giants, dragons. Oh, they drop level shields. I never knew that. Sahagin are aquatic. Buccaneers are just normal aquatic. What are scorpions? It says nothing. Scorpions just suck with that 10 defense. That attack at 22. Gargoyles are magic. Pisco demons are aquatic and magic. That makes sense. Astos was no typing. Interesting. Like these are undead magic. Yeah. Anaconda is dragon. Hyenodon is a beast. Lizard tiger is a beast. You know, this sword might actually be more useful than I gave it credit for. Before, it was only effective against were creatures. They changed that at some point, and I obviously did not do my homework to get caught up on those changes. Interesting. Alright, so I did not use the inn while we were in Melmon, shame on me, but I got tents, so I'll just use one of those. What is Lamora using? He's got the Rune Blade, the Werebuster, and the Mithril Sword. Okay, cool. So, this was the best place to grind money and experience in the old game. This was called the Giant's Hall because every single one of these tiles, past this point, was a trap tile. And it had giants and it had iguanas. Giants are great for experience and they're great for money. However, these are the only times that we're going to fight them predominantly on here. Which makes me super sad. So 1908 and 2217 for drill and experience respectively. You could just walk through, hit a bunch of those trap tiles, use up all your spells, you get low on HP, you simply leave, you use a tent or whatever, you go back in and you stack up like 10 levels. It was great. Oh, Lamora got a nice HP boost there, and Suck finally got some HP. Nice. That is not a thing you can do anymore, which is sad. Now you can only really do it twice, unless I go outside and come back in, but then that's just adding to it. But yeah. There we go. That was a nice, easy, nearly $4,000 in our pocket. Just gonna get everybody topped off. Now, there are a couple of treasure chests in here. I don't know that they're really worth exploring, but since we're here. Come on. Now, you have the ability to turn encounters off, and there are times I am very tempted because the way it used to work before is that a number of steps in a certain area would then randomly place you on a table for random encounters. If you knew what the formula was, you could actually manipulate the camera so you would get certain outcomes or avoid certain outcomes. I don't know that you can do that with this. And an Earth Elemental with a preemptive strike, yeah, he's done. They are very tough, but not when I get 4 turns before they even get a chance to go boo. And that was worth the potion, so that wasn't worth it, and a little bit of money. It's like, whatever. Minotaurs. That went down like a sack of potatoes. Jesus. Tarantulas. Thankfully, tarantulas aren't venomous. And that is carried over into their design, so I don't have to worry about getting poisoned from them. And a knife. I've always wanted a knife. Okay, another Earth Elemental, I presume? Yep. An antidote and more monsters. Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys, and yes, they hit very, very hard. And we got some money for that. I don't know if that was a worthy trade. So the one downside to the Earth Cave, and this does happen in the Sea Shrine as well. Well, it can happen in the Sea Shrine. You basically have to do it twice. It's one of the only dungeons where it's a requirement. You can... Oh, nice. You can leave the Sea Shrine once you get something and then come back. There's really no need to. But this one, you do actually have to do it twice. I got some XP off of that. Good. Good XP, but poor stats for everybody, but suck. It's good to see that some things are never going to change. You know, even with the rune sword, he did not do a lot of damage with that. That's kind of surprising. Come on, preemptive attack? No, just regular attack. Well, let's see if we can kill him before he punches. And he punched Jet again. That was a lot of money. They don't seem to like Jet very much, though, because he's the one that gets hit the most, it feels like. Yeah. Everybody else is getting like 25 HP. Sucks getting 4. Alright, so one of the reasons I bought that new fire spell is that, and I did test this on the old version out of boredom, a black mage of equivalent level can one-shot the next mini-boss in one hit with Faraga. It used to be called Fire 3 then. I've never been a huge fan of the naming conventions. You know, Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3 was perfectly acceptable for me. There's a broom down there with some chests I've never looked at. You know what? I think we're going to go check it out. If I want to get the achievement for hitting every chest, I got to go get that one. Simple fact of the matter. And I don't think in any point, even when I was playing this back on the Nintendo, I ever bothered to go see what was in that room. Now, we are just hacking through these guys. And a dirty ambush. That's annoying. And I'm heading the wrong way. That's it. Yeah, it's like I said before, this is a resource management game, so you want to get to the target by expending as few resources as possible. That's not as much of an issue now because of the way the power scaling has changed, but still not super used to it. Oh, hello. What are you? Oh, I don't know why I was surprised. It's like, yeah, it's the Earthscape. It's going to be an Earth Elemental. Money, a leather shield, and 5,000 gil. Okay. I'm used to it being gold. They started calling it gil in, I want to say, Final Fantasy VII. And then whenever they did re-releases of the original games, they changed it over. Can you use a leather shield? I don't think you can. No. And you can't either. At least not yet. In Crescent Lake, there's a buckler, I think, that they can use. Doesn't make a lot of difference, but every little bit helps. Trolls. A little bit of regeneration, but it's like, hey, you have 200 hit points? Awesome. You regenerate 9, that's not going to make a difference in the long run. Okay, these guys count as magical. 184 damage is nothing to sniff at. Okay, good stats. Decent stats. Really, Lamora? You only got agility. And he didn't come out too bad. I mean, he still sucks, but that's kind of his thing. The Coral Sword. Okay, 19 and 15. Effective against aquatic enemies, so basically anything we hit in the ocean, we hit in the sea shrine, stuff like that. Yeah, and it's the same power as the Worm Killer and the Rune Sword and stuff like that. Actually, it's a little bit more powerful. I'm going to leave him with the Rune Sword, though. The Werebuster, which is useful against animals. You know what? I'm going to give him the Worm Killer. It's not going to make a lot of difference, but a lot of those snakes are considered dragon types, so. Unfortunately, there isn't a giant Slayer sword from what I remember. So, see, at this point, we're like level 19. So I'm torn. I don't want to get to the point where I'm getting massively overleveled. Well, you get like a truck with that. On the other hand, turning off encounters means that my passage to and from the Earth Cave is going to be a lot easier. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it does kind of feel like I'm going against the spirit of playing the game if you do that. I don't know. Oh, I didn't sleep touch him. Surprised. Sleeping bag, which... Wow, the Wraith ran away. That was... honestly kind of surprising. I didn't think they would do that. Most undead don't run away. And I'll give you one as well. So we're down 20 potions. Actually 22, because I think we picked up one from my chest. So I go up and around. Yeah, I'm not used to hitting all these extra treasure rooms, so... Okay, aquatic. and magic. So Lamora and Suck Swords both got a boost off of that. Come on. Yeah. So partially one of the reasons that you level up faster is because they made it from level 50 to level 98 for the level cap. They made it easier to level up, so you need less experience. I don't know that the monsters give more experience, but you need less to level up. The other thing is that you get bigger groups of bad guys, too. Okay. I know the green and yellow ones are susceptible to magic. I don't know what these guys are susceptible to. Apparently melee attacks. Okay. I'm fine with that. The Earth Elemental is just going to get stomped on. I kind of feel bad for these guys. A gold needle. Okay, so that gives me 2 of those. Yeah, that'll be useful if somebody gets petrified, I suppose. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. The cool thing is that if you got petrified before, you didn't gain XP. Oh my god, look at the size of that enemy group. That's a thing of beauty right there. So if someone does get petrified, it's not the end of the world. You can just go and buy some for them. They're not going to miss out on experience or anything like that. That is the largest group I've seen of giants before. That is absolutely bonkers. There's a chest room right over here. These things can petrify you. And if you try to run away and fail, they get more opportunities to do it. So best to try to kill them first. And try to run away. Oh, that was terrible. Nothing up there, and then there's that room right there. Okay, cool. Yeah, 2 more wizards. There is never a point where they do not hit like Mack trucks. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. That coral sword was a good call. He is definitely getting more done. Or no, he doesn't have the coral sword. He's got the worm slayer on. Ugh. Maybe it was just a crit. I don't know. What do I have on you? Mithril, rune, worm killer. Honestly, we are going to switch to the coral sword. Been a lot of wizards. That's just obnoxious. So, usually you're around level 14 to 15 when you came in here. You're also going to have less frontline fighters in a balanced group. It's the fighter, either a red mage, a thief, or a monk is your second, and then you're going to have a couple of wizards. So you're not going to have as much melee oomph. But we've just been destroying these guys, and it is ridiculous. Okay. All things in this world are destined to end in death. They gave him the typical, like, I am a vampire. I'm going to suck. Fuck off. Steel cannot be broken, so the earth shall rot. You cannot alter destiny. Mere mortals cannot kill the undying. Yeah, you say that. However, I cast Fireball, which didn't do much. He just doesn't have the stats for a good Fireball against a vampire, even with the 50% extra damage from being weak to fire, because vampires are weak to fire. Okay, good HP, got some strength, got some stats. Got a good boost there and some stats. And you know what? That's actually pretty good for Suck. He got a good chunk of HP and he got every stat but stamina. I'll take it. The vampire is the mini-boss of the Earth Cave, but quite frankly, they're just red shirts. You start running into them more often, and it's just like, oh, look, it's another vampire. I'm totally lacking in care. I don't want to hit you with another fireball. Just an episode ago, we were like, oh god, wizards, pisco demons, whatever you want to call them, that's terrible. We should be very, very careful. And we're good. It's like, oh, it's a multiple group of them? We don't care. I'm pretty sure one of them tried to petrify Suck, but Suck does have some magical wizard protection, so he'd be okay. Yeah, we're level 20 now. What is, out of curiosity, Jet's defense is 11. So he is falling behind, but he's also got an 11 just completely naked. And I did look it up, and I figured out how it works is that, so for every 4 points of stamina in his torso, he gets a point of defense. For every 8 points of stamina, he gets a point of defense in the hand slot and the head slot. And I think the shield slot as well. So the math gets kind of weird. But once he hits 20 stamina, he should get another boost in his defense. Which is 12. Which is not bad. I mean, it's a character that you don't have to invest anything in, and he's just rocks the Casbah. Come on. Let's see if we can get out of here. Ambush by Wraith, so paralysis time. Or he runs away. I'm going to do something because I am really, really bad about doing this. We're going to set default speed to run. I mean, I'll just crash into a few things every once in a while. That's fine. But I am really, really bad at remembering to hit the run button. Okay, getting out of here is fairly simple. That wasn't even a crit, that was almost 250 damage. Oh yeah. I went to go hit the run button, and because I have it auto-run, it made me walk. Yeah, I'm smart, I swear. Okay, there's our exit. And this part is pretty easy to get out of. It's not a very complicated dungeon, but you do spend more time if you're actually trying to raid all the treasure chests. Most of which didn't really have anything great in it. Coral Sword's nice. There will definitely be a point where we're going to be using that fairly exclusively for one of our characters. But we also walked out with 50,000 gold between monsters and treasure chests. Because we went in at... Actually... Yeah, because we went in at like 34. Okay, we're going to pop a tent. So a tent used to only give you back mid and low level spell slots. And they didn't give you anything for the higher ones. You needed a cottage or a house for that. And that still applies. He did not get his level 5 spell slot back. Okay. It's good to know. The bravest ghouls in history. Okay, now we need to go over here. Okay, what sword do I have equipped on you, Suck? Coral sword, you're going to go back to the Werebuster. You'll take the point less. We're going to run into more animals, so it makes sense. The Giant's Cave. I think they probably should have stayed away from us, but that's fine. You have Star Ruby. Give me Star Ruby, I'll let you pass. And he eats the Ruby and he walks off. And then walks literally off screen. There's that 50% damage increase right there. Great Axe, money, and a Mithril Helm. So the Mithril Helm is actually an improvement for Arthur. Can't wear it. So, you're getting it. It's not a big boost, but it is nice. Mithril gear tends to be, it has less defense, but it's also lighter weight, so you don't lose as much evasion. Like the Red Wizard, once we get him promoted, which is going to be kicking him fairly soon, he'll be able to wear Mithril gear, which is nice. Okay, so the whole reason that we're coming up, imps, goblins, that's... I actually kind of feel bad for them. So what happened was that past the vampire's room, there is a slab that we can't lift up. And since apparently no one's heard of a crowbar, we got to come all the way to this guy. So we defeat the vampire, eh? He was but a servant. The beast corrupting the earth crystal lurks much deeper within the cavern. Take the staff with you and use it behind the vampire's chamber. Yeah, the earth rod. It's a crowbar. Because apparently they have not discovered the idea of a pry bar yet. Now, a lot of the stuff you can learn from, talking to people, but we're kind of speedrunning it a little bit. Not kind of by surprise. I think they do blind. Yep. Surprised that Arthur didn't get hit by that. He's usually the first to be susceptible to a status effect. But even now, like, blind didn't work in the old version. It works now. It still doesn't matter much. Like, you can get the blind spell. I've never found it to be useful because, one, you're going against creatures that have high magic defense against anything that would be worth casting it on. It's going to miss most of the time. And even if it does work, it doesn't drop accuracy enough for it to matter. And when most of the things you're fighting cast spells, spells don't miss. Their ability to see you does not have an effect on that. Okay, so we're full up. No, he still does. Oh no, never mind. I was misreading that. He did get a full set off the tent. No, that is a level 6 spell slot that is opened up. Alright, well, that gets me for paying attention, apparently. I was thinking that wasn't the case. Okay, this should go a little bit faster. We already hit all the chests on the first, second, and third floors. We're going to switch Suck's sword out again. One thing I do like is that, yes, this sword does 50% more damage against beasts. Okay, cool. But it doesn't do less damage against everybody else. So it's still a better option. Oh, wrong way. One troll. No troll. These guys are all dragon types, so, you know, the Worm Slayer probably would have been better, but it doesn't really matter. And hey, we have our first antidote use of the day. I think everybody's doing okay. We don't need to worry about potions yet. Wow. Okay. That is a big group of gargoyles. And I think they all went before my guys did. And that didn't really do much. Quite frankly, softening them up doesn't matter when you can one hit them. So, yeah, that was kind of a waste of a spell slot. Once he gets his class up, I'm going to be switching out a lot of his damaging spells for different support spells. He's better as a support buffer than anything else. In this case, however, we will be using another spell. Because I want to kill as many of these guys as possible. Should be able to kill the werewolves, but not the werewolves. Or not any of them. Jesus. Suck. You really do suck. And Jack got poisoned again. That was my fault. Yeah, he just doesn't have the background stats to be a good spellcaster. At least not for damaging. That's okay, though. I really should be playing him as a frontline fighter that knows magic as opposed to a wizard that knows how to fight. Wow, Lamora didn't get any stats again. Jesus. And Suck got some fighter stats, basically. Strength, agility, and stamina. Okay. So, the code for this game... Jesus, and all the... Okay, that happened. That's all available. I could look to see how many empty levels the Thief has, but he's had like 3 level ups where he hasn't gotten anything, except maybe some HP. So, I don't know how rare that is, because you're supposed to get at least, from what I understand, certain levels are guaranteed you're going to get 3 or 4 stat boosts, and certain levels are guaranteed where you're going to get a big big HP boost. But I don't remember there being any empty levels where you wouldn't get anything. But he's had like 3 of them where he just hasn't gotten squat. And I was like, that's kind of odd. I don't really get what the Orchid Jellies are about. The green ones you can only hurt with, I think, lightning spells. The black ones are susceptible, or blue ones are susceptible to swords. The other one's susceptible to fire. Those guys hit hard, but they're just kind of vulnerable. I don't know. I could, not be lazy and just look them up, but... Okay, so there's this floor, which is kind of a big maze. There's one treasure room down at the bottom corner. Good lord. Almost all of our guys went first the second round. That's awesome. I guess we could go down and around. Going the right way? Yeah. Okay. Alright, what do we have in here? An Earth Elemental? No, actually. So an Ogre Mage. I don't know what spells the Ogre Mage knows, because they almost always open with Blink. And if they can do other spells, I couldn't tell you. A Tent. Of course, since they're not locked into casting spells first, we may never actually see them cast one. Oh, they can do blur. That's bad. That's really bad. I didn't know they could do that. And that was not worth it. I'm going to spend more on potions healing everybody up than I got out of the chest. You know what? Just to be on the safe side, kill him first, please. There we go. Much better. A Mithril Shield. It's a boost for you. Can you use it? No. Can you use it? No. Okay. After this, one more floor, and then we have an easy teleport out. So. Wow, he actually survived that. It's shocking. And, okay, last floor. Thank God that's a preemptive attack. These things do frighten me. And that right there is where we're going. And there's nothing else in here. There are, however, some very nasty monsters on this floor. These guys are not them. No, I guess tarantulas can poison you. Some odd reason I thought they couldn't. I know one of the spider types doesn't do poison. Okay, we're going to drop a quick save so I don't have to walk all the way back through here. The Lich. Who speaks to me? I am he who feeds on the power of earth. I'll not be disturbed by mortal men. I am the Lich, fiend of earth. Alright, so he's got Fire 2, Lightning 2, Ice 2, Haste, Slow, Sleep, Paralysis, and Dark, I believe, but he doesn't have an insta-kill spell. He also has multiple attacks, and he can do Paralysis Touch. So we need to Haste. We're going to put Haste on Lamora because he's got the Rune Blade. He's also got pretty high defenses. But he is magic and undead. There's that Paralysis. That's not a big deal. Let's temper Lamora. Yeah. Well, that's not good. Okay, slow, so that's going to knock out the haste I just put on Lamora, and it's really going to screw everybody else. Now, one hit. He's just doing his normal hits now. Wow, he either got paralyzed and shook it off in one turn, or it missed. I'm not sure which. I think he just shook it off. And he's dead. Alright, cool. Didn't really do any real damage to us. Usually he's opening up with a Fire 2, followed by a Lightning 2, etc. We got very lucky in that. Oh, that's a big level up for Arthur. That's not terrible for HP. Terrible on stats, though. Lamora didn't do that great, but he got some stats. And, oh, a big jump for Suck. He got a lot of HP, he got strength, he got intellect, and he got luck. All right. Okay, our crystal and their crystal. Now it's glowing. Life has been returned to the Earth Crystal. Now, if you look at this, we have these little crystals, and you can see that one of them is now glowing, which is awesome. I still liked it when they were orbs, but that's fine. Now, right here, this little glowy thing here, the way it would work in the old game is that once you lit up the crystal, you could step onto the altar, which has got a different design from what it has here. It'll teleport you out of the cave. I didn't know that. So I would fight my way to the bottom of the dungeon, I'd kill whatever fiend was at the bottom, and I'd have to fight my way back out. I didn't know that they had a built-in teleporter for the longest time. I think I'd beaten the game at least twice before I realized that. But yeah, that is the Earth Cave. All taken care of. We're all level 22 now. Got a ton of money. And we're going to be moving on to the next point, but not today. That's going to be it for today. I just wanted to do the Earth Cave. I think that was enough since we had to do the dungeon twice and hit a secondary dungeon. Good times all around. But next week we're going, or not next week, but next episode we're going to be going over to Crescent Lake, and then we're going to start doing some sequence breaking. Because with this group, what we have with the Red Mage, the Thief, the Monk, and the Warrior, we really benefit from some sequence breaking, and the game actually kind of encourages it. But that's until next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you then. Peace.